Good morning, everybody. How's it going? The roads here suck here with another vlog here type thing. I apologize for the atrocious camera angle. I'm trying to keep it hands-free. That is, both hands on the steering wheel. So I guess you get to enjoy the view of my fingertips. And loud turn signals. They run fast now because they have LED bulbs which have a smaller current. So the car thinks there's no bulbs and that's why it blinks fast. But anyways, as of today, or yesterday, since I'm going to be uploading this and scheduling it for tomorrow, the New York City speed camera laws have changed a little bit. So what it was that it was ultimately they could only be placed in school zones and they could only be activated a few hours before and until after school activities, if that makes sense. So if school starts at 8, then they would be activated at like 5. If schools, if there's like a basketball game going on, the cameras stay on until like 12 at night if the game goes on that long, so on and so forth, because the cameras are for schools. So you don't know which cameras are active at which time, especially since there's no school days, I guess, if any of that makes sense. The point is the cameras are on when something's going on in a school, because they're technically school zone speed cameras, right? And but they're allowed to be placed within like 1 or 5 miles within a school or something to that effect. So the thing is, they can be placed essentially anywhere in the city, but they can only be activated during school times. It's a little bit weird to wrap your head around, but I think I've done a good job explaining that. In any case, the law is changing now. What they're doing now is that the cameras are going to be on between 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, year-round. So the cameras are off between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., right? So overnight they are off, and they are off on Saturdays and Sundays. So I guess a lot of people with Saturday and Sunday school are fucked, right? In any case, the real kicker here is year-round, because during the summer, not all schools are open, not all cameras are on and functioning. They want to make it year-round. That gives them just a little bit extra money. You get what I'm saying? Here's the thing. The cameras were off generally overnight anyway. But still, sometimes they could be on pretty late. And they were only on during the school days. But now, they changed it up so that they're on all year. I don't even think they turn them off on holidays. So there's something to watch out for. And and I think they're going to be putting a lot more cameras now too. Listen, during the day, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really go much over the speed limit. Like, I don't know, I tend to keep it between 25, 30, mostly at 30 miles per hour, because that's just safe speed, You're going about the pace of everybody, that's how the lights line up and so on and so forth. Especially on these avenues, these green waves that I have right now, all the lights are synchronized, depending which avenue you take. They're either at 30 miles per hour or at 25 miles per hour, so you can't speed anyway. And during the day, yeah, it's a little bit, through traffic and everything, it's a little bit, if you're going above 30, especially on the roads that have less than 3 lanes, it's a little bit too fast for conditions, keeping in mind traffic, pedestrians, cyclists, so on and so forth. So the fact that if you can go 30 miles per hour, fine, that's all fine and dandy. I wish I wish the roads that had more than 3 lanes, or 3 lanes or more, would have a higher speed limit, like parkways. But nothing you can do about that. It's a bit of a double-edged sword here, because now the cameras are guaranteed off on the weekends and off overnight. So for those of us who are drivers working the nights, this kind of, where we aren't limited by physical means, this kind of leaves the speed at our discretion, because the NYPD doesn't really enforce speed. I mean, yes, there are speed traps, like at the tunnel near the UN and the, what's it called? Something else as well, but oh yeah, when you're coming down Kent towards Kent and Greenpoint, it's a bit complicated, I know, but when you're coming down Metropolitan, The streets go something to the tune of Very, Wythe, Kent. So if you take a right on Kent and go towards the direction of Greenpoint Avenue, there is another Kent Street after Greenpoint. Where was I? Oh yeah. So when you go towards Greenpoint Avenue down Kent, there is another speed trap as well. It's usually by, I don't remember which street it is, but it's by like the little fences when you're approaching Quay Street. Those are the only two routine-ish speed traps that I know of. Other times, you know, yeah, the highway patrol takes care of the highways, the state troopers also take care of the highways, but predominantly the NYPD doesn't really do speed traps. So for the most part, you know, and I don't recommend this, but if it's nighttime and if you're really good at what you do, you can kind of leave it up to whatever you feel is reasonable, which I appreciate. So, you know, in a way, this change of law is kind of a blessing because it's now, you know exactly when the cameras are on and when exactly the cameras are off. And during the day, yeah, I agree, you know, the speed limit should be, like, on the little side streets and stuff, if you're going, like, 45 miles per hour, that's a bit too much, you know, in my opinion. But during the night, on, like, a 4-lane avenue, if you want to catch up to the green wave and you want to give it a short burst of speed and you see that you can and it's empty and it's perfectly safe and fine, yeah, why not? So within reason, you know, this is good. But again, it's a double-edged sword because now they're going to be operating year-round, Monday through Friday. So that's a little bit of a pain in the ass. But I guess this is something of a welcome change from what it was previously. The only real complaint that I have is that, again, this complaint per se hasn't changed, but from what I see what's going on, the way they're putting these speed cameras, bus lane cameras, you know, I wish the bus lanes were HOV lanes, that would make more sense, but they're not. You have these bus lanes taking up these avenues, you have city bikes taking up so many parking spaces, you have speed cameras, you have a lot more delayed reds now, delayed green lights now. They are very intentionally causing congestion in the city. And there's talks about how, you know, they need to limit Uber drivers and how they want to place a congestion toll and everything like that. You know, it's kind of, and then you kind of see them intentionally causing congestion, which sucks. That's my chief complaint, you know. And they cite safety, but that is something false because, you know, if you were really concerned about people's safety, shouldn't you be finding the jaywalkers that don't even look where they're going? They just run across oncoming traffic? You know, why is it the driver's fault if a pedestrian darts out? Yeah, a driver can ultimately hit the brakes, and yeah, when a driver hits a pedestrian, you know, the driver is usually fine and has no problems at all. It's the pedestrian that's, you know, probably dead. But the real problem lies with all these cyclists and pedestrians. You know, if a car is going through a green light, and if a pedestrian waits while the car has the green light, or if the pedestrian looks both ways and sees, you know, oh, there's a car coming, nobody gets hurt. It's that simple. You know, if everybody just waited their turn, if everybody just wasn't like, fuck me, I'm invincible, and then just run across the road, everything would be fine. So really, cyclists and pedestrians are to blame for the most part. Yes, there are a lot of terrible drivers here, but I don't know. I just wanted to bring this up because I just thought it was interesting that they're flipping from kind of this law and they're expanding it, but while they're expanding it, they're kind of like cutting it back a little bit and like the cameras will definitely be off at this time type of deal. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know I just ramble on, just felt like having a talk. Back to work for me, so I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.